Our question at this time concerns the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and one asking, can I trust that Jesus really resurrected from the dead? Well, that is a good question, seeing that we are 2,000 years removed from that event. Can I trust that that really happened? Can I be sure that Jesus Christ really resurrected from the dead? Well, my first question to that person would be, do you believe the Bible? See, if you believe the Bible, and you believe that the Bible is the Word of God and that the Bible is true, then as you look into that book, you're going to find many references to the resurrection of Christ. And not only from the standpoint of prophecy, Jesus promised all the way in Matthew chapter 12 that just as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of that whale, so the Son of Man shall be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Just as Christ had promised these things and said that it would be so, so it came to pass. And you find that in Matthew chapter 27 that Jesus Christ was crucified. You go into chapter 28, and there we read about the women who go and how that they themselves see the empty tomb. And there is an empty tomb where they go to. And there laid out were the dressing, if you will, the dressing for the body and so forth, and how that the head covering, it says, was there laid down separately, folded up and everything, just as one, not as if someone was in a hurry to run away, but someone methodically and reasonably got up, if you will, got up, laid those things aside, and left that tomb. They go to an empty tomb. These women here, the Bible speaks of in Matthew chapter 28, says that Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, they are witnesses to the empty tomb. Not only are they witnesses to the empty tomb, but as you continue to read in the book of Matthew 28, we read that they speak to the resurrected Christ and talk to Him and call Him their teacher, call Him and not only that, but they call the apostles to come. And the Bible tells us in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John, the record of how the different apostles came, and they looked at the empty tomb as well. And then the Bible tells us in the book of John that they saw the resurrected Christ as He appeared to them, and then it says He disappeared and left them, and a week later He comes back because Thomas had not been there. Thomas was not present at the time, and he said, I want to put my hand into His side, and I want to put my fingers into the nail prints. Well, if you look back, we often talk about doubting Thomas, but folks, he just wanted to experience what those folks had experienced the week before. And he said, whenever I do that, I'm going to believe too. And he did that, and he cries, my Lord and my God. These words are recorded for us by the various speakers, by the various writers, whether it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Those books, by the way, were written some 20, 30 years after the resurrection of Christ. If anyone wants to, in those days, if anyone would have wanted to discard and to discount what was said and say and to dispute the fact that Jesus had resurrected from the dead, this was their chance. This was their opportunity. The fact that these books have survived and thrived some 2,000 years later tells me something about the veracity of the account. But not only this, in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the Apostle Paul talks about how that he was a witness of Christ after the resurrection. Yes, he saw the resurrected Christ, and whenever you look in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, and there about the first 8 verses or so, he's going to tell about the fact that he was seen by Cephas, that is Peter. He was seen by others, he says, by the 12. This 1 Corinthians 15 verse 5. Verse 6, by 500 brethren. He says, he appeared to James, and he said, finally appeared to me. And so here are well over 500 witnesses to the resurrected Christ. He says those people saw Him, and he goes on and tells the Corinthians the fact that many of them are still with you to this day. And of course, we understand that in that course of time, through that first century, All those who would know and who could testify and who could show for a fact and declare for a fact that Jesus had been resurrected from the dead. Can you trust that account? Can you trust that that is so? Absolutely. Yes, by all the witnesses, eyewitnesses' accounts, and eyewitness testimony, you know for a fact the Lord is resurrected. And because that's so, He has brought salvation to each and every one of us that we need to take advantage of today.